these things are huge, because I never seen things like this before. And he took me on the mine and he showed me the drag line. And he said, you see that piece of equipment there? He said, you'll be working on that. I said, where's the mine? He said, this is the mine. It's an open pit. It's an open. I said, oh, okay. I said, I'll be working on that. He said, that's electrical. I said, I can't work on that, brother. I said, no. I said, you see the size of this machine? I said, this is exactly what I told him. I said, the size of this machine, if you take that in my country, the country sink. I said, because this thing is so huge. I said, it's going to sink. He rolling in the truck would laugh. I said, yes, it's going to sink. He took me on the machine. And my eyes was open, my mouth was open, because I couldn't believe. I never seen anything so big. The dragline is it's a big, huge crane. It's huge. It's a crane, but it's huge. And it was the biggest crane in the world at that time. They sat undressing me and taking me and bringing me back inside and outside of the drag line, back and forth from hot to cold, just to climatize my body until I got it. And then I went and tell them, well, then you're on 3 months probation. Eh? So after 3 months, if you don't like the job or they're not happy with you, they send you back. So after 3 months, they called me in to interview me to see, what I'm doing. And when I walked in the office, the manager told me, he said, you want to quit now? So I started laughing. He said, you don't want to quit? I said, nah. I said, I think I got the hang of it. He said, well, first thing we're going to be telling you that we're very happy with your work. Very, very, very happy. He said, we're going to give you a raise. This is the raise you're going to get. And he said, this is going to be a big surprise. We're going to make you lead hand. I pulled back like this. I said, lead hand? I said, I just get here. Now there's 30-something electrician and I'm the last guy get hired. How could you make me lead hand? He said, yes, we're going to make you lead hand. He said, I'm going to give you 10 guys to work under you. And the drag line now, and I call out the 10 guys who have to work under me. They said, who are you now? I said, well, I'm lead hand. They said, lead hand? How could you be lead hand? I said, yeah, I'm lead hand. They said, well, we're not going to work for you. I said, what? I said, we're not working for you, buddy. I drove back with the Jeep and I told them, I told the manager, I said, those guys don't want to work, They refuse to work under me. So he said, go back and you discipline them. If you want, you fire them. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. I said, no, that's not in my system. I said, I'm new here. I can't do these things. He said, follow me. He said, leave your truck, jump in my truck. Went on the drag line. He said, who don't want to work for Cecil? Nobody said anything. Everybody was, because he ready to fire. He said, okay. Nobody said, okay, that's it. Because I was young at the time, in my 20s, I drove way, way out in the mine because you could drive very far. It was a huge place. And just cry. When I finish crying, I come back, dry my tears. I come back on the machine, like if I'm okay, tell them what, look at what they're doing, walk around with my pad, take little notes, And then I decide they're going to put me on a technical part. So they were computerizing the drag line to monitor the drag line, how it moves, how much load it take. And they have a thing, some guy in the States invented it. They called the data logger. But now I hear they saying data. But at that time was a data logger. Was one of the first time type of computer coming to monitor everything, how much load it taking, how it's shifting and all. And this guy came from the States because he created it. And he came to install it on all the drag line. And it put me to work with him. And I worked with him for about 3 weeks installing the equipment on the machine, and I was the one to take all the VHS tape at the time, some huge tape. You plug into this machine and then take all the information, and then I will go and download it on a computer in the office. And I worked with him, and the guy asked me, when he was leaving to go back, he asked me if I want to go to the States with him. And I said no.
You lived in City Hall, you said?
I used to go there all the time. Well, it wasn't City Hall at the time, it was Park and Rec. Mm-hmm. It was Park and Rec, and this guy who was in charge of Park and Rec, I used to go to him all the time, every time. His secretary knew me like we were neighbors. Because I used to be there all the time. I said, I have to get Carnival in Edmonton. Must get it. Must get it. And I used to go and tell the kids and them in the band, I said, we're going to get Carnival here one day. I said, because I don't give up. Say, you sure? I said, yeah, I'm going to get Carnival. I said, the squad like this ain't cutting it. One day I went to the office and he said, Cecil, I'm going to surprise you. He said, you want the Carnival? He said, you got it. You get it. He said, when you want to have it? I said, not this year, next year. I said, next year, I think was the long weekend, July long week, the Canada Day long weekend, I think it was. I said, we're going to have the Carnival. I just take a deep breath and I said, thank you very much. We had the first Carnival. We started we used to start at the stadium and come on 107th Avenue, I think it is. No, not 7th Avenue, where the stadium on. 11th Avenue. 111th Avenue to 101st Avenue, 101st Street on 101st Street. Come down to Diamond Park. That's how it used to go.
He didn't like Western Carnival?
Yeah.
It was a short form?
Yeah, short form. Let's call it CARIWEST because it's Caribbean people, and let's call it CARIWEST instead of Western Carnival Development Association. It's the association that run CARIWEST. I said, right, that's fine with me, and that's how it become CARIWEST. That's how, from Selwyn, and he kind of changed the way, the look of it and everything with his professional, his know-how. And when I moved there, didn't have nobody there. Maybe, I think, we were the only black couple. Mm-hmm. The only black couple in Morinville. My kids had problem in school, when they go to school, I said, I don't bother with that.
What kind of problem?
Well, because you're a different color. So they'll come home and say, this get called and that. Yes.
How do you decide, okay, is this what you had, or this is how you compose a steelband?
No, this is what I had. You come, we need 2 tenor players, you better go on the tenors. You come, the other one come, I said, you go on bass. The only person come in the band and was Nick's daughter when Valerie and Diane was babysitting her. And they bring her in the band to play, while they were babysitting her. And she went behind the bass and she started playing the bass as a little thing. And I look at her and I said, geez, you got some rhythm in you. She was, man, like small, tiny. I said, when you go home, you know what I want you to do? Go and tell your dad or your mom. I said, I don't know them, but tell them to bring you here next week to play the pan. She looked at me like that and said, okay. I said, tell Diane and Valerie at the time, they were in the band. I said, tell the mother to bring her in the band. And the following week, they bring her in the band, and she stayed in the band from 6 years until she get married in the band. You know, all of them get married in the band. She become...
Okay, let's talk about the composition of the steel band. We stopped off where Titi Lopez's husband was a Trinidadian.
Yeah.
We were describing the composition of the steel band.
Oh, yeah.
Bass.
Yeah, it have
tenors.
It had tenors, it had double tenor, double second, guitar, cellos.
So do you imitate musical instruments? Or?
Yeah, yes. You have 4 cellos, high bass, 6 bass, and 9 bass as far as 12 bass, you know, but we just went to 6 bass. But our band is composed of tenors, double tenor, double second. We had cellos, we had guitar, and we had high bass, and we had a 6 bass and a 5 bass, which is a high and a low bass. So we had that in the band. I'm going to tell you something. Right here in Edmonton, they were running a fiber optic line from Toronto to BC. They were making a splice right in the middle of the city, right at, you know, right by McDonald Hotel, before you come down, McDonald Hotel there. Right there, they were making a splice. I was part of that. I was the coordinator for downtown, for right down there by the convention center. I was the guy who did all the planning, most of the planning. I and the manager. He used to take me with him because a lot of the questions he couldn't answer. So when we go to meeting, I used to be sitting down with him.
This is concerning the splice?
Yeah.
Now, what is a splice?
Well, no, what it is, you run in cables. And when you run in cable, you know, the cable only make a certain length, right? They wouldn't make a whole length of cable that go from one end to the next. So you had to make splices. So when you're making that splice, you had to do a lot of coordination because a lot of things have to shut down. And you have to be on time with everything. So we went to a lot of different meetings. People from the States, people from all over came. You know, this was no little things. Mm-hmm. So we had to shut down all the banks downtown here. We had to shut down a lot of businesses. And that was 1 o'clock in the morning. So we had to plan that and have everything back up by 5 o'clock. I am the first black in Canada to have a professional electrician ticket. I'm the 31st person in Canada to get that status. That's what this ring is. I'm a professional electrician. I'm supposed to put letters behind my name. I don't. From today. Said, I'm going to give you supervision, make you a supervisor, and you're going to be fixing all the crane in Athabasca. He said, You're working for this company, so we're going to charge the other company. When you go and fix it, they pay us. We're going to pay you. I said, fine with me, I know. But yeah, I'm working. I go out now, I give me 10 guys to work with. Again, they don't want to work for me. And that same Athabasca pop mill up there. They don't want to work. I went to Frank Santiago. You know Frank Santiago? Frank was a supervisor on that same job as a welder supervisor. I went to Frank. I said, Frank, I have a problem. I said, they just make me supervisor, but... And there are 10 guys. That is policy. Huh? The father talking about. I said, Frank, they don't want to work for me, but again, my problem. He said, fire them. He said, fire them. He said, go back to your manager, tell him, and fire all of them. I said, okay. I went back to him, I said, they don't want to work, you know. He said, they ain't working for no black man. He said, fire them. I said, nah, boy, nah, I can't do that. He said, come with me. Follow him. Fire 3 of them. 3 of them down the road, fire them. And the other 7 decide to work. He gave me 3 other new guys. And after that job, I quit the union. I working until them I done. See, if you go in Hana, I'm going to tell you something what happened to me in Hana. They were building a drag line in Hana for Alaska. And I was the guy who was supervising the building of the drag line. They bring some guys from Texas to build the drag line. They bring it, they buy it from Texas, they destroy it and bring it here and building it back up here. So the company from Texas was building it here. And I was supervising the building. And walking around, you know, little black boy, you know, with my bag and walking around looking, making everything, because I was the company eyes, you know. And one day they put up a Confederate flag on the top of the drag line. So the manager come there, because you're out in the mine. He came, he look up and he see the flag. So he called me. So look up there, see that flag up there? I said, yeah, I see it. He said, that bothering you? I said, me? I said, no. I said, I ain't see no paycheck on that. That ain't bothering me. He said, well, let me tell you something. It's bothering me. So come with me. He said, whosoever put that flag up there, take it down, or take the next plane and back to Texas. In about 2 minutes, the flag was down.